You'll make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Tune.
Yeah, catch tune. Good morning. It's wet outside, and this is...
You know, we had threats and threats of rain all last week, and it didn't rain very much at all. And all of a sudden, wake up, and it's raining. Yeah. And it looks like in the forecast, we're going to have a couple of days of dry, and then it's wet again.
Yeah, well, and this is Get It Right Texoma.
That's
and
right.
This is with the trio.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Terry,
Trey, and Mike. And where he's here always laughing at us. Yep. And so anyway, we go live every morning, every Friday morning, not every morning, every Friday morning. That'd be fun, but doggone, we got other stuff to do
got
too,
this whole
right?
job thing going.
Anyway, go live 7:30, Facebook and YouTube. Last week, a little snafu on YouTube, but it's up there. That was my fault. Anyway, we got Chip
Terry,
Tyler.
you could have easily said it was YouTube's fault. Nobody
I know.
That would be unprovable.
Although,
you know Terry's an honest person when he takes credit, when he takes the blame for something that would be absolutely nobody would be unprovable that it was your fault.
Well, but Facebook did screw up, and we went live just fine, but they didn't save the thing, even though they're 30 days. I haven't had a chance to upload it. So go to YouTube, find it, share it, let everybody know, and share this tonight or this morning. We didn't share it. We need to share it. Yeah. So anyway, please comment, share, like I said.
Well, first off, our guest is Chip Filer.
I did say that.
I
did.
You went past it.
No, right there.
No, I know you said it,
no,
but you blew past it.
Okay.
You did say it. Chip Filer, Hotter Than Hell 100.
Hotter Than Hell 100. He'll be
in with us, yeah.
Yep.
Now, you did say the words Chip Filer, but then you went right into something else. You word vomited something else right after that.
Yeah. So anyway, we've did it, and or he's here. It will be. And but anyway, so what do we usually? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's get into it. Let's get it right. Texoma. Doggone it. Yeah. Man, you threw me off.
Sorry about that.
All right. So we
got local restaurant focus, like always. Bradford's Fish Haus.
Haus.
Yeah, they spelled it German style there. Bradford's Fish Haus. Now, I have not been there. Full transparency. But I've heard a lot of people who have talked about this place. It's where Hibiscus Cafe was for a long time before Hibiscus moved. It's on Pearly Drive, right over by the base. Yep. And it's apparently a very good place to eat fish. And if you could check out their Facebook, their menu looks great. The pictures on there look really good. And like I said, I've had a lot of people tell me it's good. And people I trust, that I have dinner with that I know kind of if they like something, I generally will like it. But there's your daily specials right there. Yeah. So, well, hang on.
Sorry.
If you're interested in that, you got
Tuesday,
fish
Wednesday.
Sandwiches, wings, fish, and fish and shrimp combo.
And fish not just on Friday, right?
There you go.
So when I was a kid,
friends.
when I was a kid, I never knew why, but for some reason if I remember, maybe it was just during Lent. I don't know, but at Fort Worth ISD, when I was a kid, I can remember middle school. All I ever remember was Fridays had fish.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Well, do you know why the McDonald's fish fillet started?
No. I guess you'll tell me.
It actually was started by a franchisee who was in a highly Catholic area. And Catholics are not.
So business probably went down on Fridays.
Exactly. They're supposed to eat fish. They're not supposed to eat, I guess, meat. Not
it's
supposed
Lent.
to eat red meat, I think.
Yes,
I'm talking about Lent. It's Fridays. Every Friday.
Oh, see. Well, see. Now.
So
okay,
anyhow,
I thought it was.
I think the Catholic
Catholics
Church I think Catholic Church has changed a little bit. But at one time, and I don't know if it's still the same, they couldn't eat red meat maybe on Fridays, but they had to eat fish. A lot of Catholics ate fish.
Well, that's what
a franchisee, a McDonald's franchisee, came out with this idea to have a fish fillet sandwich.
Okay.
And when McDonald's corporate found out about it, apparently they said, no, that's not on our menu.
That's right.
So at the annual meeting, I think that franchisee went and took his fish fillet to the annual meeting and convinced corporate and other franchisees, hey, this is a good idea, not just for Catholics in my area, because people want a fish sandwich.
Right.
So that's how the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish became to existence.
All right. Well, here you can get it on Friday, Tuesday. I guess not Mondays though.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that's the daily special. That doesn't mean they can't get it every day.
Well, that's true. Well, we'll look at the hours here in a minute.
Yes, let's look at the hours. But
anyway, all the man, look at that. They've got all kind. Oh, I got catfish. What other kind of fish they got?
I don't know. I've never been there.
There's.
Well, that looks good. That looks like chicken.
Got.
That looks like catfish there.
All right. Yeah. Well.
So anyhow, but Bradford's Fish House. Like I said, not been there personally, but have heard really good things from a great number of people, and their hours closed on Mondays.
Yep, closed on Mondays. That's what I figured.
And open the rest of the week. And are they open for lunch and dinner?
Lunch and dinner, it looks like. Yeah. So except on Sunday, it's just lunch. So.
Okay, so lunch and dinner.
And Saturdays,
Tuesday
all
through
day,
Saturday,
pretty much. And then So there you go. So go check them out.
Check them out. They're on the address is Pearly Drive.
Yeah, it's 1616 Pearly Drive. Just go down like you're going to the base. Go past the main gate on the left side, and it'll be like right there at the Circle K.
Circle K. You turn at the Circle K, and then immediately look to the right. There's a little strip of, it's not a mall, but a little strip of business buildings that have been there forever.
Yep.
I grew up in that neighborhood, and I've always remembered there being stuff there, and there's a little strip of them there, and that place is right there. And like I said, if you're familiar with Hibiscus Cafe, where they were probably for 15 years.
Oh, yeah, for
20 years.
They were there until, I mean, that was their first location. And
right. So that's where they are.
All right.
So Bradford's Fish House, go check them out.
Go check them out. All right. So we got what's next
Local
here?
happenings. Sippin' Science.
Sippin' Science.
So this is a thing that Riverbend Nature Center puts on. My wife and I have gone to one or two of these.
Not that one.
They're pretty interesting, and basically it's an adult only thing because there's alcohol there. But you go and you sit, and they have wine and beer and that sort of thing, and hors d'oeuvres and the finger foods and all that. And you sit and you learn about a subject, and they have an expert that comes in, and it's a couple hours. It's right there at Riverbend Nature Center, so it's a beautiful setting. Right there, and you get to learn, and let's see who's going to be there.
Michael Fiore.
Michael Fiore,
from Smith's Garden
Town.
So he's
I'll say he's an expert.
Yeah, and
he grew up in this business,
and he's got a YouTube channel and all that. He's all over social media, man. He's got lots and lots of followers.
Oh, does he?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, he's like nationwide or worldwide. I don't know.
Okay, well, I know he grew up in that business.
Yeah.
So he I would say he is an expert on houseplants.
Yep.
So. But it's a real relaxed environment. Like I said, you don't have kids running around and that sort of thing.
Right.
There's a little bit of alcohol there. And so just show up and do the Sippin' Science, but you can go online and register there. Yep. And our friend Jenica Lambert sent this to us. Of course, Jenica, the executive director of Riverbend Nature Center.
Yep.
And by the way, just a cool place. Riverbend Nature Center is a little spot of nature right here in the heart of Wichita Falls.
Yeah, really. So amazing building there. That nice
absolutely,
glass building and wow.
So if you get a chance, go check them out. But the Sippin' Science, maybe that's a great place for you to go if you've never been to Riverbend, to go see what it's all about and enjoy some information on houseplants. Houseplants 101.
All right. So maybe Lucy probably knows a lot of it already, but maybe I'll see about taking her.
There you go.
So, all right, we got. Let's see.
City manager. Okay, so city manager
yes.
Jeff Jenkins announced that the current short list as a permanent chief of police in Wichita Falls. So, if you'll remember back, longtime chief Manuel Borrego retired several months ago, and the city hired an interim police chief. And I've had to explain this to several people. The interim police chief was hired as an interim police chief. He wasn't hired as it appears to me that he wasn't hired as an interim police chief who may to try to get the job.
Right.
I don't believe that's his intent. I think he was hired on a 7-month contract, and I think his intent was to be a police chief. When you have somebody who leaves, you have to have a chief, and it would be the bridge between Chief Borrego and whomever becomes the new permanent chief.
Yep.
And so the interviews, let's say the people will be interviewed by the end of June, with finalists being interviewed on July 14th. And so then hopefully they'll have a a permanent chief hired by the end of July.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how these things work. So this is a big position. I mean, a police chief is not in a city the size of Wichita Falls. I don't know how many police officers we have, and it's not just police officers; it's the dispatchers. There's a lot of things that they're kind of in charge of. But it's a big organization. They have a large budget. They're about to undergo a major reconstruction or renovation project over at Kirby Middle School for the cop shop. So it's important who you hire. And you don't want to just hire somebody who's like, oh, yeah, I just raised my hand. I've been a police officer. Now I want to be the police chief.
Right.
You need people that have administrative skills and experience. So that's what they've gone out. They've gone out to a search firm. There's search firms that they're basically headhunters that find these people, and they're going to bring them in. They're going to do interviews, and this is pretty common for a large position like this. You'll do an initial round of interviews. Then you usually choose 2 to 3 people to make your final list. Then you'll do another more in-depth interview. Generally, it's several hours long.
Right.
There, and then you make your choice after that.
So I guess there's a natural question: why don't we necessarily pull from within? Because I think there's some advantages.
I don't know that we're not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they did, that is, an advantage would be that sometimes there might have been. And that's what they're going through right now. Also, I mean, there's been some challenges that they've had here recently. Some deserved, probably, but also
a lot of it's not deserved. I will say
a lot of it's undeserved.
A lot of it is undeserved. There have been some incidences that have been questionable. Right. There's no doubt about that. But there's also been some stuff that's people throwing poop at the wall. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know that they're not.
Right. We don't know. Right.
But the fact is, in a position like this, I don't think it's a bad idea to go out and see what's out there, as well as leaving yourself open. If you have somebody internally who you feel could be a strong fit, yes, I do believe there are some inherent advantages to that.
Right.
But there also are some disadvantages to it.
No, I know.
Because when you have a large organization, you have culture. And sometimes somebody who's internal has been internal for a long time, they're ingrained in that culture. And if you're trying to make a cultural change,
good or bad,
right. Yeah. If you're trying to make a cultural change, sometimes they could be a really good person, but they're not going to make the cultural change.
Right, because they're invested in the people in really long-term relationships, and sometimes that's. Again, not saying that's bad at all, but it's just sometimes in a position like that, it sometimes may not be that good. So anyway, we're not making that decision.
No, not at all. No, people smarter than us, people that are more involved in that are just talking about facts here.
Right.
But it's the same way as when the city went out to a city manager.
Yep.
They didn't hire from within. And I believe, I don't know this for a fact, then there's some great people that work for the city of Wichita Falls and some great people that work in higher administration. Right. But I think they wanted to make sure that the city government, the city council, was committed to a cultural change. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, once again, it's hard to do a cultural change when you're hiring from within.
Right. There you go. So anyway, we've got things happening. We're going to get a new police chief at some point, and and I'm sure they'll do a great job of whoever it is they hire.
I agree. All
right.
They're going to be deliberate about this.
Yes.
That's the one thing I will say. I believe this city council and city manager, Jeff Jenkins, who we've had on our show, he seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
I believe that these people that all of them are committed to being very deliberate about their choices.
Yep. All right. Well then, so going a little further to the world here.
Yeah, a lot further. Yeah. So the U.S. and Iran have reached a memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
Understanding, and. So did you find
I've
those
got
points?
Those, right.
I think it's 14 points.
Yeah.
It is so hard to know the reality on this because there's so many people from so many different directions spinning this thing. In the end, the way I look at this, and by the way, I don't know that I totally agree with what they're doing.
Right.
I don't feel like the United States has gone far enough. A few things that we have to say for sure. Iran no longer has a Navy. Iran no longer has an Air Force. Now, it doesn't mean they don't have some missile launchers, some drones, and that sort of thing.
Right.
Iran does not have an active nuclear program going right now. So those are some objectives that the United States set out and took those objectives. Now, I don't know how they're blocking the Strait of Hormuz. It probably is missiles or drones. But the big key takeaways on this sort of stuff to me were, number one, the Strait of Hormuz opens, which I believe that could have been done by force, not just from the U.S., but you think about it, all these countries that really need the Strait of Hormuz, the United States kind of does it. I mean, it's good for the world economy, but as far as affecting our energy, we have a lot of energy right here.
No,
we have a lot of oil.
But we can't. We have a lot of oil, but we can't produce any of it. We can't actually
we
run.
Produce
we
it
can't
all the time.
No, we can't refine.
Refining and producing are two different things. We
well,
produce it all the time.
I'm sorry. That's clarify. You can produce it, but it doesn't do us any good because we can't. We don't have the refineries to do the stuff that we make, which
right,
I think is.
We don't get them refined necessarily in Iran, though. That's what
No,
I'm saying. There's
no.
other places.
No,
we
but
we don't have to use the Strait of Hormuz as well.
Right. Well, I thought that's still affecting us.
It affects us some, but it's not.
But that's the kind of oil though that we can refine.
If the Strait of Hormuz is closed,
right.
it is not going to stop America from moving on.
No,
but there are countries that it will. So my point is, I think that could have been opened by force. The choice by the administration was not to, was to do it this way. So that is a key point. The other key point is, in this, Iran has supposedly never can have nuclear weapons. Now, to me, the devil's in the details on this.
Right.
Because they have to, if the United States wants this to be effective, they have to make sure that there's anywhere, anytime inspections. Yeah, wow. Which means we show up, we're going to inspect it. Wow. And if you try to block us, there's going to be consequences.
All right.
So, to me, I'm not going to get bent out of shape about this whole thing. They're still talking all the details. To me, the most important thing is when the details come out. I will say that Trump did say, and of course, doesn't mean he'll follow through with this, but he did say, if in 60 days, if they're not following the rules that they've been set forth, we're going to bomb the hell out of them again.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of to that point. Obviously, I don't want to commit a bunch of American troops and things like that, but I'm kind of to the point. Why don't we just take Kharg Island? And you don't want to hurt the people of Iran, but the problem is, at some point, they have to rise up and be willing to stand up to the government that is pushing them down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there was some initially. There was some uprisings, but then I guess they squashed those pretty quick.
Pretty quickly, yeah. So, but we're not there. We don't live in that situation. We don't live in their world. So I can't judge what they should and shouldn't do. Yeah. But in the end, I don't know anybody who thinks that Iran having a nuclear program is a good idea. Yeah. And I know people keep talking about the JCPOA. The problem with the JCPOA is, number one, there were no anytime, anywhere inspections. Number two, we gave them pallets and pallets of money, U.S. taxpayer money. And number three, it's sunsetted. In 10 years, the JCPOA went away. So all of a sudden, then Iran was free to do whatever they wanted to do again. So we have to make sure there's no sunset clauses in that, and that there's anywhere, anytime inspections. And if that doesn't happen, I'm going to be very critical of the administration for doing this. I guess my point is, right now, everybody needs to take a breath, see what happens in the next 60 days. We as human beings, we're so antsy, and especially it's worse and worse because everybody is so used to everything being now. I want something from Amazon. Boom, it shows up at my door. I want it today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy how everybody, 2 years ago, everybody knew it was going to take 3 or 4 days to get something from Amazon. Now you're pissed if it doesn't show up by 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So we all have to understand that all of this stuff takes time.
Yeah.
And so 60 days is 60 days. It's not it's a very, very short period of time in the relative scheme of things.
Yeah.
The fact is, the stock market is doing well. The stock market is looking at this, and they're seeing some positives here. Oil prices are dropping. When oil prices drop, gasoline prices will drop. The cost of everything will go down when the cost of shipping, but it doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. We didn't get to the high gas prices. We didn't get to 9% inflation overnight. No. It took time. It takes time to go back the other way. So I think everybody needs to take a breath. Let's see what the real details on this thing are. And let's see if Iran wants to follow through. And if they don't, let's see if President Trump will do what he says and follow through with his threat. Yeah. Okay. And if he doesn't, then I'm going to be one of his most harsh critics about it. Right. But give everybody a chance. Give understanding, give diplomacy a chance to work. And then if it doesn't work, then you have to take the big stick out.
Right. Well, and without going through every one of these, we'll take CBS's little key points here and see what they are. Both sides agreed to immediate and permanent end to the military operations on all fronts. Yeah, which of course, Iran can begin exporting oil as soon as the MOU is signed, which I guess is signed. They did it remotely.
Yeah.
Not that
DocuSign.
Yeah, DocuSign. There we go.
So, but that basically removes the blockade because we've had a naval blockade on right. Iran. That's the reason.
Yeah, it says that Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. The U.S. and regional partners will develop a reconstruction plan for Iran worth at least $300 billion. Now, you were saying, I didn't know that, but the $300 billion is not our taxpayer money?
According to J.D. Vance, according to Donald Trump, according to Marco Rubio, not one penny of that $300 billion is American taxpayer money. Okay. It's Iran's money that's been frozen, and some of also money from the other Gulf partners, Oman and UAE and some of those people. And you have to understand, they're really committed to making sure Iran gets their shit together. Yeah. Because they're right there. And Iran, you could see what happened when the war started with Iran. They started bombing our allies over there. Well, they're bombing people that live right next door. Yeah. So all of those states they're committed to try to make sure that hostilities cease a little bit.
Okay. Well, there's let's see. So there's basically you're going to stop making nuclear weapons. Iran is. So two sides have agreed to resolve the disposition of the stockpiled enriched material. And U.S. sanctions on Iran will be lifted on schedule as part of a final deal linked to nuclear compliance. And then there will be 60 days to sign a final agreement, which the two sides can agree to extend. So there you go. So there's 14 other.
In the end, it's 60 days before we all pass judgment. Everybody goes crazy on both sides. People on the left saying this is the most horrible thing in the world, and people on the right saying this is the greatest thing in the world, and everybody in between. Let the 60 days happen. Let's see what happens, and let's see what the devil's going to be in the details. Let's see what the details are, and let's see what the U.S. is going to do to follow through.
All right.
Okay.
And then anything. So
Elon Musk.
First $1 trillion.
Elon Musk becomes the first person in history that we know of.
Right.
Now, I still contend that if you do dollars to dollars,
right,
that some of the emperors of some of the Ottoman Empire, maybe a king of England at some time, some of the Egyptian pharaohs, they could have possibly been the most wealthy people when you take in all of the net worth.
Right, and scale that from today's dollars.
But because when you say net worth, so Elon Musk cannot put his hands on $1 trillion cash. No, I mean, come on.
It's a stock value. It's
not real money.
Right.
It's not real money until he sells it.
Exactly.
But as of right now, and by the way, if he sold it, it would tank.
Right.
It would tank the value and everything.
Right.
So here's how it works out. It's when SpaceX their IPO went public. And so they went public, and their shares opening at $150 and briefly reached $176.50. And then that gave the company's valuation of $2.2 trillion and boosted his stake in SpaceX to about $766 billion. That combined with his Tesla holdings at approximately $280 billion, that makes his net worth about $1.5 trillion.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, but again, that then.
And here's another staggering thing. This makes him wealthier than the next five richest billionaires combined, and surpasses the GDP of several countries, including Taiwan, Sweden, and Ireland.
Jeez.
He's worth more than the whole country of Ireland. It's pretty phenomenal. What I don't understand is the people that are bashing him. First off, people go, how do you need that kind of money? Once again, it's not like he's got that money sitting in a. Well, no. He's not Scrooge McDuck out there with all his coins and diving into them. Right. It's all, like you said, it's all value. It's paper value. Yeah. But whether you like Elon Musk or not, and there's been a lot of things I don't like about Elon Musk. Yeah. I've said that before. The guy produces lots of cool, interesting stuff, and he contributes billions in salaries into the economy. In other words, if he shut all those companies shut down right now, it would actually make a shift in our economy to some degree, because there's so much money that is paid out in salaries, and it's not just directly, it's ancillary.
Right.
So it's the same thing as Tim Short talked about last week. It's not just that Skybox is going to come here with a data center, but what about the restaurants that are going to pop up to support that, or the ancillary businesses that pop up to support a large business?
Right. And here's what the economic expert that I am. No, here's what I think. What is our national debt? Nearly $40 trillion. $40 trillion, of which about 8 trillion has been since COVID, 6 or 8.
So. Yeah, it's a lot.
And so let's look at this for a minute. This is money that didn't exist.
Still doesn't exist. Really.
Right. But it's owed on paper, and with that, you've got this money, and during COVID, that $6 trillion, or was initially about $4 trillion or something, within a very short amount of time, that we went into additional debt to send out to everybody. My contention is that the people who, like, a significant part of that flowed, that money in the economy that the government put into it. I just think that the rich people like him and they are good at what they do. They're good at making money. That's why Lowe's and Home Depot and Amazon, and you just name all the companies.
Walmart.
All of those companies ended up with a significant amount of that money.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, is the crime. That it's the national debt. Again, I'm not going to knock him for taking advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you and I would probably do the same thing. I don't think he's doing anything wrong, but the reality is our government put that money out there, and that is crazy. And we're almost, like I said, almost $40 trillion in debt that I don't know. It will never pay it off, and it's crazy. So anyway,
I think what we have to do is just tell everybody
my criticism
of
the whole thing.
We're not paying them.
So
just tell them we're not going to pay them. Just call China and say, "Hey, China, we're not paying you." What are they going to do about it?
Well, yeah, I don't know how that would. Yeah.
We send Vinny over. We'll send Guido over. Whatever it is.
Well, we have our guest.
Yeah, real quickly, to follow up on what you were saying. That reminds me of something that happened during the presidential debate, the first or second presidential debate, when in 2016, when Trump was running against that large Republican field, and several of those people were senators and that sort of thing, and somebody made a comment about his taxes and how much he paid in taxes, and he said, "I didn't build the system.
No,
y'all built the system. If you don't like the way the system is, you change it."
Yep. So, and nobody's paid attention to the national debt.
Exactly.
Very few people, or anyway.
And one little tiny thing, and we're not going to go into detail. This could be a very controversial thing. We don't want to get into controversy, but the verdict that happened in Frisco, Texas, or Bikini, I guess, in Collin County, where there was a kid that stabbed another kid. Okay. Do a deep dive on this, please. If you're interested, go into this and do a deep dive. Do not listen to Jasmine Crockett. You talk about a fucking liar. I'm sorry. She stood up there and absolutely just made things up. Whole cloth made things up. Let's take race out of this. A kid stabbed another kid. It looked like the kid that stabbed the kid was a good kid. It looked like the kid that got stabbed was a good kid. So there's a whatever that problem is. Let's take the race out of it. It doesn't matter what color these kids are.
That's a bad decision.
It was a bad decision. But what I'm saying is, do not listen to headlines. Do a deep dive if you're interested, and if you're not, shut up about it. Yeah. But my point is, don't parrot BS headlines because you heard somebody say something, especially somebody like Jasmine Crockett. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody get up there and twist the facts and lie so blatantly in my life about anything than she did about this case. Yeah. Thank goodness she's no longer going to be in politics. She's no longer
and the attorneys defending
representative
him, pick the jury. I mean,
look, you could armchair quarterback this thing, but what I'm saying is, do not take everything on face value.
Yep.
If you want to know, get the facts, but please don't parrot BS on anywhere. Right. That's just the smart thing to do.
All right. Anyhow. All right. We do this as a live transition.
Come on in, Chip.
Just come on down. And you're the next contestant. Oh.
So Chip Filer with Hotter Than Hell 100.
Hi there.
Yeah.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in.
You, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. See, right there. Camera's right there.
Got your name there and everything.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Man. Yeah, we're high tech here. So your microphone, get on there.
Look straight into the camera
look there. And just so you know where everything is.
Super.
All righty. Well, Chip, you're not a new person to Wichita Falls. You've been around for a little while here.
A little bit.
Yep. So tell everybody here, obviously you're here for the Hotter Than Hell 100. How the Hotter Than Hell did you get involved in the Hotter Than Hell 100?
Well, I moved to town back in 1988, and it took about 6 months before somebody found out that I'd been involved in events up in Milwaukee, where I came from, and I got recruited to the steering committee. And I helped out with routes and roads for 3 or 4 years, and then after that, Ron Longino got me involved in rest stops. So I worked on coordinating rest stops, right up until 2007. Wow. And when Delphi closed, which is where I worked.
That's what I was saying. What brought you to Wichita Falls?
Yeah, I came down with AC spark plug at the time. And I had a 37-year career with AC spark plug in Delphi. And when the plant closed, I retired. And Roby said, didn't you once say you wanted to be executive director?
Roby Christie, by the way.
Yeah, Roby Christie was the chairman.
Kind of the godfather of
founder.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I said, well, not quite. But I said, he took over as executive director when he retired as postmaster.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, well, that's just the cat's ass job for a retiree, and I hope I find something like it when I retire. And so he said, well, let's go to lunch.
Open your mouth.
Okay, there you go. So I took over January 1st, 2008, and have just had a wonderful time ever since.
All right.
We got 143 people on the steering committee. Everybody has their own responsibilities and do a fabulous job of making this thing happen.
Right. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, so you have 143, you said?
143
And then how many people, though, do you need to make it actually happen?
Well, the way we kind of figure that out is we give out about 3,200 to 3,400 volunteer T-shirts every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it really belongs to the city, to the community.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong to me or to Roby or to any of the steering committee. It belongs to the community.
Okay.
And that's what makes it work.
It's just amazing the amount of volunteers that come together for this event every year.
Yeah.
And that you guys are able to coordinate. It really is like a well-oiled machine. And I know from the inside sometimes there's always chaos and everything. But if you look from the outside, it doesn't look chaotic at all.
Right. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, there's always things that happen.
Of course.
I mean, it's an organization. But the people that make it happen or make it work are there.
Right.
They step up, take responsibility, and in the end, it comes off every year.
Right. So how did it start? See, I didn't grow up here, and I guess you got involved later.
Right.
But
I can tell you what it almost was. A rocking chair contest.
Oh, I heard that.
Yes,
So
yes.
what's the history here? What did?
Okay, back in the beginning, say 1981,
Okay.
the city wanted an event to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the
centennial.
founding of the city.
Okay.
And so they hired some specialists out of New York City to come in. They put together
New
a
York
committee.
City.
They put together a committee, and they presented an idea that we ought to have a rocking chair marathon. And it was Roby Christie and the folks on that committee, like Mark Davis, that said, no, that is not the spirit of the people that founded Wichita Falls, Texas.
Rocking chair.
Can you imagine a marathon?
Whose idea was that? Do we know?
Somebody in New York City.
Yeah, somebody came from New York City.
Okay, so not
So
a
anyway, they
name.
just said
Okay.
no.
The Pace
And-
Pecani sauce commercials are my favorite. New York City, get a rope.
half the guys on the committee and gals were cyclists.
Yeah.
So they said,
Right.
we're going to ride 100 miles in August heat, 100-degree heat,
Right.
to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Wichita Falls,
Ha, ha,
Texas.
ha.
Okay, so 100, and
100.
hotter. Okay.
Hotter than hell, 100.
Well, in one of the committee meetings, one of the guys spoke up and said, my goodness, it's going to be hotter than hell. And that's exactly how it got its name.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think it's great. I mean, it was so. It's crazy to see how organized it is here because the first few years, I mean, you didn't know where the routes. I remember my dad and I were going to a roping deal over at a guy's place. We were going to go rope cattle, and we got hung up over on East Side. And we didn't even know that there was such a thing as a hotter than hell was going on. It was like the first or second year, and you're sitting there, and we sat there for 30, 45 minutes watching bicycles go by, wondering what the hell all these bicycles were out on the road for.
well, in the first year, they had planned on about 500 people, and they actually had over 1,200.
Wow.
They ran out of bib numbers. So they went out and got 8-inch white paper plates and stapled those, actually, took pins, put them on people, and those were the bib numbers.
Oh, wow.
So I think they had 1,206 people register that.
And that
first
was
year.
before the internet.
Yes.
So how did
There
the
was no
word?
social media then.
Well,
Yeah.
the group that was putting it together actually went and rode with bicycle clubs all over Texas and Oklahoma and
To promote it,
Arkansas.
yeah.
And it rode with them, and they had a T-shirt. In fact, we've got one in the Hotter Than Hell Clubhouse. It says, "Follow me, come ride Hotter Than Hell with us."
Oh,
That's neat.
Yeah.
So what is the 1,200 was probably the number that was ever.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the highest number of riders that we ever had?
12,445
wow.
And what year was that?
to, let's see, 2012.
20. Okay, I knew it was several years
Yeah.
ago. So.
Yeah.
And then what have you been averaging the last several years?
You get somewhere around 10,000.
Okay.
We target 10,000. That's really what it takes, because if you think about it, we don't do this to make money for that organization.
Right.
We do this to make money for the community. And once we sit down and pay the expenses, the money that's left over gets donated to other charities. Okay? And it's those charities that have helped support Hotter Than Hell 100 with volunteers or rest stops or, whatever it is, sag wagons. And so we spend a lot of time putting together an event for the community. Hotter Than Hell 100, gosh, brings in anywhere from $5.5 to $8.5 million into the economy every year.
And a lot of it is outside money.
Right.
When
Absolutely.
people don't, when you start talking about money coming in, there's a lot of people who don't live in Wichita Falls that ride in this thing. The majority.
Most.
So that means that's money that those people would never have spent in Wichita Falls if it hadn't been for this event. So they come here and they spend money because of this event, and that's where your real impact is. Because if you live in Wichita Falls and you spend money in Wichita Falls, there's some economic impact, but your money's just kind of bouncing around a little bit. When you get that fresh money in and it bounces around, it makes a bigger impact.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we looked at the numbers from last year. Somebody said, well, how many people from the community last year rode in it? I said, well, okay. So I looked, and if you take the 76301 through 76311 zip codes, there were 960 registrations last year.
Really?
Yeah. But now think about it. you got 3,200 people that are probably cyclists that are volunteering.
Right.
They're not
They
riding.
can't ride.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we would like this year to get 3,000 people from this area registered to ride, to really grow the ridership from the community in the event. Okay.
But yeah, you're right.
We
I
still
never
want our
thought about-
volunteers.
Yeah, I just never thought about that. You're right. A lot of the people that would ride, if this event was somewhere else, they would go to the event and ride.
As a matter of fact.
But
yeah.
they have to volunteer because otherwise this event couldn't
Right.
happen.
That's
So
right.
how many do you get from the base? Because I guess you get a
Well,
fair
that's
amount.
76311.
1-1.
No,
yeah.
but I meant in terms of volunteers.
Oh,
from the
volunteers.
yeah, volunteers, the airmen that are here
goodness,
for
there's
the airmen in
hundreds.
training. And,
Yeah, there's a couple
and
hundred.
staff.
but
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's 3 or 4 different groups from the base. The CBs, the oh gosh,
Fighting Seabees.
yeah.
Remember that movie?
You really need to have somebody like David Coleman in here to tell you the exact people.
Gotcha.
Because he coordinates the folks from the base for us.
Okay.
So there's been some press out there that there's been some struggles. So financial struggles, maybe,
Well, yeah.
or you tell us a little bit about
Well, let's
what
talk
we're
about
needing.
that. There is a kind of a thought in the community that Hotter Than Hell sits there on this great big pot of money, and that we're making millions of dollars, and that's not the fact. The fact is that if you get less than 10,000, less than 9,000 riders, it's costing you money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last year, our total registration was 7,567. But leading up to that, you can't plan for 7,500 people.
Right.
You have to plan for 9,000 to 10,000 people. So you go out and you spend $23,000 on ice. Okay. You spend $43,000 on tents for the rest stop.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing the dollars when you get into it. And when we laid out the difference between the income from registrations and sponsorships against the expenses for last year, we came up about $9,400 short. Okay,
So what number do you need typically to be able to to hit your break even point?
9,000.
So you need 9,000 to hit your nut
Yeah.
to break even.
Yeah, and we target 10,000.
Right.
10,000 is a great number. You know, it's fun to get out there at 6:30 in the morning and see 10,000 of your best friends lining up on Scott Street
It's crazy.
to ride with you.
I'm gonna tell you, my place we close. My store closes
Yeah.
because you can't get in down there.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to see a spectacular event, I think my store is one of the best places to watch it
Oh,
because everybody's
absolutely.
getting already going, you know.
Yeah.
And you've got to get there early. But you sit down. The problem is if you sit down like in a camp chair, after a little while you have to kind of look away because everything's spinning and the colors are going by.
Yep.
And it is a phenomenal sight. But we close. So this is what I always tell people. This is how important this thing is. I believe this is how important this is. We literally give up a day's worth
Yep.
of our business on a Saturday
Yep.
during part of our busiest time of the year to quote unquote support this thing.
Absolutely.
And we don't complain about it. We just take it off. We understand it's good for the community. So what I always tell when I hear people go, oh, the Hotter Than Hell, it's like, don't go downtown. If you don't want to go there, it's not like it takes over the whole town. You know, go somewhere else. Go out of town. Don't go down where the areas are where they're going to be riding, and then you're not going to be affected by it.
Yeah, but otherwise, just either put up with it or participate or
Shut up and go. Yeah.
Participate. One of the things that we try to do is we try to make things available for folks that don't ride to come down and enjoy. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can come downtown in the morning and watch that start, and then turn around and go over to Impact, and the Finish Line Village starts up about 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And there's food vendors there, there's beer, there's an entertainment tent.
Yeah, that is the definition of beer 30 now.
Yes.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere,
Well,
and
and
maybe
then-
9
and
o'clock
is
here.
there still the spaghetti feed and all that?
Friday night,
Friday
we have
night,
the
yeah.
spaghetti feed.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, the chef down at Impact puts on a great breakfast. I mean, he does a great job. And, you know, the spaghetti feed's what? $16 if you buy it in advance, $18 at the door for all you can eat.
Yeah.
Same thing with the breakfast. You can go down there starting at 5:30 in the morning and eat breakfast.
That's all you need to do is I'm going to go ride 100 miles, so I'm going to load up on spaghetti the night before and breakfast the night of.
Well, it's the carb load, right?
You're going to carb unload at about 50 miles.
Carb load the night before.
Yeah.
Right.
You eat very smart the morning
Right.
of.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise you will be carb unloading.
Yeah. Well, I remember I worked at Baskin-Robbins in Fort Worth for 2.5 years when I was in high school, and when we had a few people that were either, I guess they were running a marathon, but as soon as he got done, this customer would come in and buy a half gallon of pralines and cream and eat it.
Yeah,
Wow.
After,
So what do you need? What does the Hotter Than Hell organization need to continue to be successful here?
Well, the big thing that we're looking at is let's go back to the history of Hotter Than Hell. For 44 years, we basically ran Hotter Than Hell strictly on registration dollars. And with costs going up, it's not possible to do that anymore.
What is registration?
Right now, it's $65 for any event, okay? And that is probably one of the lowest registration dollars. If you go out to go up to Tulsa Tough, it's 80 to 120.
Really?
Yeah. If you go out to Tucson, it's over $100. The guys that do a lot of rides will tell you that we are probably the most cost-effective for the riders, okay? So we have tried to keep the registration costs down so that families can continue to participate. Mm-hmm. You know, if you've got a $150 or $125 registration fee, it's hard to bring a family of four.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if it's $65, it's a little bit more affordable.
Right.
Yes, we started out at $35 back in 1982.
Oh,
Yeah, but gas was like 89 cents a gallon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So
Well, what do you get for your $65?
you get your registration, you get rest stops, 19 rest stops out on the courses that take care of you. Mm-hmm. Each one has a full MASH unit. I mean, you can get stuck for an IV out there, and it's all covered. That's your
$65 covers basically
everything.
your triage medical expenses. I mean, you're going to be care flighted out of it.
You hope you never use it.
Yeah.
Right.
But we also cover it if you get care flighted off of the course.
Oh.
And you have a bib number. We carry an insurance policy.
Oh,
for
okay.
that.
So you have insurance on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, it has to be approved by the medical director.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you end up at a rest stop and they need to fly you out, or if you're out on the course and you get injured, they'll call for approval for that transport.
Yeah, if you just want to ride home, you can't do that.
No, doesn't work
Who's
that
the
way.
medical director?
Dr. Oman, Dr.
Okay.
Brandon Oman
Okay.
is the medical director.
All right.
Fabulous guy.
All right.
So volunteer wise, so you need registration is low, so you need more sponsorship dollars, or what?
Yeah, we need sponsorship dollars, and for years we would have a title sponsor that was $25,000. We had one other beer sponsor, and that was basically the sponsorships. Any other sponsorships that came in were actually solicited for, like premiums for the races or race money, things like that. We really need to come up with about a total of $200,000 a year in sponsorships. Okay, that sounds like a lot. We went up to Tulsa Tough and talked to the folks up there to see how they do it, because they only register about 3,200 people. They are races. They are not a ride. They do have fondos or community rides, but that's not the big deal. The big deal up there are the criterium races. But they get $900,000 plus in sponsorships from the community. Okay, and so we've started looking at that, and with the help of Steve Garner, who has been in this community for years.
Oh, yeah.
He's done a great job in helping us identify
Actually, going to be on the show
sponsors.
next week.
Okay.
He's going to be our guest. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Steve has been amazing in helping us really take a look at what sponsorships can mean and where we can get them.
Yeah.
And so he spends a lot of time helping us with that.
Okay. Well,
So sponsorships, and then obviously you need volunteers.
We need volunteers.
And are we maybe from what I'm hearing, are you kind of maybe trying to reach out and get people who are maybe not riders to volunteer? So maybe some of the people that are riders that have to volunteer or feel compelled to ride?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
We would really like to see people that don't ride today start to ride. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, hop on a bike. Enjoy it. We have the best city trail around. Go out and ride. You don't have to ride on the streets while you're practicing and warming up, you know, and training. You can ride on the city trail.
Yep.
But get on a bike. It's great exercise. And that's one of the things we try to do is help people get out, exercise, join the cycling community, and live a healthier life.
Right.
Okay. Which is really why United Regional has stepped up to be our title sponsor. They are now the presenting sponsor for the event, which is just amazing. We both have an interest in the health of the community. We have an interest in spreading our word around the nation and attracting people to Wichita Falls. United Regional is interested in attracting people and becoming known as a destination hospital for quality health care. It's an amazing fit. So,
Well, no.
Oh, do we have any problems with hotel? Do we have enough hotel space right now to accommodate everybody?
yeah, we have enough hotel space, but the problem we have, and this is the biggest complaint we get from riders, is that the hotels upcharge for Hotter Than Hell weekend. Okay, you go to a hotel where you might pay $125 on a normal night if you're staying over, and you come in on Hotter Than Hell weekend from Friday and Saturday, it's going to be $350. Wow. Okay, that's an example, and it's not an exact quote, but that's exactly what happens. So that's the biggest complaint we get from riders. Yes, there are hotel rooms available. I mean, every year on the Hotter Than Hell webpage, I will, probably starting the first week of August, list hotels that have vacancies. And there are some hotels that don't fill up each year. Okay, so there are hotel rooms. Now, people stay in hotels for 100 miles around. Okay,
Right.
you come up from the Metroplex, you find the hotels along 287 are coming down from the northwest on 287. They're full, most of them.
Yeah, because it's not a big deal to get up if you're going to go ride, it's not a big deal to get up and drive 50 miles to get here.
Right, and there are a lot of people that drive in from the Metroplex. Right. About 50 to 55% of our ridership comes out of the DFW area.
Wow.
Okay.
What's your furthest rider? Do you know
The furthest one I remember was from Guam.
Wow.
Okay. We do get...
Takes a while to ride from Guam.
Yeah. We get people from 40 of the 50 states normally every year, at least one. And we get people from 4 or 5 foreign countries. Now, a lot of the folks that come in from foreign countries were here at Shepherd Air Force Base.
Right.
And they learned about it.
And that was when they first rode in it. And they come back. There's a couple that come from London, England, occasionally. And
You cannot trust those English people.
they ship their bikes in.
No, you can't trust a limey. I'm telling you. I'm married to one.
I know. But they go look in the door of your shop.
Yeah, yeah.
So and as far as COVID, how did COVID affect from COVID forward? Is that kind of where saw the
COVID? Of course, everything shut down.
Yeah,
and so we went virtual, and we let people do their ride on their own time in their own neighborhood. And we gave them a finisher medal if they let us know.
Right.
Okay. We also shipped them a T-shirt because we'd already purchased those.
Right.
Okay. So that year, I think we had a total registrations of like 2,600.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was really great because that helped keep us alive. Mm-hmm. Okay. The following year, there was over 10,000 people in 2021 that registered.
Wow.
And then it just kind of dropped. It 10,000, 9,000, 9,000, 8,000. And then last year it was like 7,500.
Wow. Well, so this year, though,
we're turning it around with the help of Hager Communications.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of publicity that we've never done before.
Right. Got a new website.
Got a new website.
Yep.
One that you can actually use on your mobile device.
All right. Yep.
Imagine that. It's 2026.
Well, you probably could use it, but it just would be hard.
You couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So are you seeing, though, since you're tuned into the cycling community, are you seeing a decrease in cycling overall in America? I'm seeing it in the motorcycle business. That's why I'm asking. There's fewer people riding motorcycles.
Yeah,
than
what you're seeing is probably the same thing you're living with. People are afraid of distracted drivers. Okay, cyclists don't like to get out and ride on the roads like they used to.
No, hell no. I don't like riding motorcycles downtown anymore.
You can ride hotter than hell 100 because the corners are all controlled.
Right.
Okay, if you get out in the county, my goodness, the sheriff's department covers all of the major corners on the routes. Okay, so it's a pretty safe ride on hotter than hell Saturday.
Right.
But in order to do hotter than hell Saturday, you need to practice. You need to train.
Right.
Okay, and you need to train during the day out on the roads. In Wichita Falls, you can train on the trail.
Right.
Okay, and you can at least get in 50 miles on the trail if you go out and back.
Right.
So,
I'm just talking about in general. Are there fewer cyclists in America than used to be? Just in, I don't see kids riding bicycles in the neighborhoods as much when you drive through and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think you're right, Trey. I think you kind of hit it. Okay, and the regulars that have been coming for years and years and years are starting to age out.
Well, that's the other side of it. That's what we're seeing once again. The baby boomers. The problem is the generation, the Gen X people like me. We're a much smaller group than the baby boomers.
Right.
So therefore, even if you had the same percentage of people that are interested in whatever your activity is, it's still going to be lower numbers of people.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and most rides are down number wise.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so many people have their phone. Their heads are buried in their phone. They can't. I mean, you got to actually put your phone down. You can't scroll Facebook while you're riding a dang bicycle.
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking about it. Going around, driving around town, you don't see kids riding bikes at all, hardly. I mean, but it's not like I'm not
when
sure.
When we were growing up, you were always out on a bike.
Well,
Yeah, you're
was our
fixing
major
your
means of
bike.
transportation.
You had to fix your bike, and all summer you're running around, even during the regular school year and everything. You're running around in your bike, unless it's really cold out.
When I was 12 years old, I lived in Glen Rock, New Jersey. Okay, I could get on my bike and I could ride downtown, which was 7 miles away. Okay. And my parents knew that I'd be back when the streetlights went on.
Well, I was a kid. I lived in Fort Worth, and on the west side of Fort Worth, right there at right where the museum district, that was sort of, I hung around right there with Will Rogers and everything. I rode my bike all over that place, and then I rode it to the mall, to Ridgemar Mall.
Sure. The only problem is back then you had to avoid the horses and buggies.
Well, right. Whatever.
Okay, Trey.
Yeah. So I mean, we fixed our bikes. We how many flats did you
Oh, my
fix?
goodness,
I mean, it was just that was the thing. Now, no, you've got transportation as a kid, and a lot of kids, they take, I don't know.
Growing up in Michigan, where I really grew up, my dad fixed bikes for all the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They'd come over and Mr. Filer will fix your bike, and he'd go up to the garage and he'd fix it for
my
them.
brother worked at as a toy store. Is actually a Schwinn dealer in Fort Worth on Camp Bowie. It's called the Toy. The Toy Chest. It was called.
Okay.
And it was locally owned, and it was a Schwinn dealer. And when the Schwinns were made in the U.S., and all that. I bought a Mongoose, BMX bike, and man, it was just, I don't know. I'm thinking about that. It's like, man, I miss that.
You just think about all the fun times of riding bicycles, and so in the end, what you're needing is, or what the Hotter Than Hell organization and the community needs is, we need more sponsorship,
right?
And then we need more volunteers.
And more riders.
Right.
Come on, folks. Let's get out and enjoy the community. We've got a fabulous community for cycling.
Yeah.
Get a bike. Go on over to Cycle Run or go over to the bike stop and pick up a bicycle and ride. It was amazing the number of bikes that were sold in 2020 because that's all people could do.
Right.
Everybody ran out of it.
Yeah.
The stores were running out of bicycles.
Yeah. And so 2021, 22, and 23 were really hard on brick and mortar bike stores.
Yeah.
Because people still had the one they bought in 2020.
That's right.
So that business is coming back, though.
Right.
If you talk to the guys at Richardson Bike Mark, for instance, they're saying, yes, sales are coming back finally.
Right.
Well, you flood the market,
Exactly.
and then everybody was short on things. I mean, like I said, the cycle, my business and the bicycle business are very similar, and they all run in cycles.
Right. So real quick, y'all, one big I don't say a milestone, but a status that you guys have earned, I guess, and is now versus what you earned. So now you're a 501c3.
Yes, we are. We are now a 501c3. And we've worked on that for about 10 years.
Wow.
Because we have actually functioned as a 501c3 at least since 2008.
Right.
I don't know before then, but we are not a club where you charge membership fees. Right. We don't get out and we don't get into politics.
Right. In
fact, we avoid politics as a club.
Well, because
there's no reason for it.
Right.
Yeah. We're interested in health, development of people, and people cycling and having fun.
Right.
And then putting on an annual event that is one of the best in the nation. In fact, 2 out of the last 3 years in the USA Today readership poll, we were rated the #1 road cycling event in the nation.
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
Man, that's cool.
Well, that's cool.
We got it in 2024. We got it in 2026. 2025, we came in 3rd.
Right. So what's the mission of now you've got a couple of names that some people might run across with the DBA and all this. So
it's Wichita Falls Bicycling Club doing business as Hotter Than Hell 100.
Despite the club name, it's still not, you're not charging fees or whatever,
No,
right? Okay.
not at all.
But that's just kind of what the roots
That was the way it was founded.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, wow, so that's cool. So you can donate, and it is deductible.
It is tax deductible.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So.
Okay, so if somebody wants to get a hold of you or your committee, how do they?
It's
the best
real
way?
easy.
Okay.
My email is info at hh100.org.
Well, that's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And you can get there. Get on the website.
Yep.
Okay?
Lots of good information.
Yeah,
on the website.
the website is hh100.org. And you can learn about anything you need to know since it's been redeveloped by Hager Communications. And you can find it whether you're on your computer or whether you're on a mobile device. It's just amazing.
Terry's trying to pull it up right
There
here.
it is right there.
Yep, right there. So, yeah.
It is a good looking website, too, by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you got
Yes.
69 days,
69
3 hours,
days.
20 minutes, and 54 seconds
Yeah.
to
There
get
you
it
go.
after it.
Yeah.
So,
That was the first thing they put on the front of it, which is really kind of neat. And every
Right.
page has a link to register.
all right, there you go. You can't have, call it crazy. We call it August. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Awesome.
This, I mean, this is just typical what we deal with all the time. Every year, nearly every year, we've got that 105. Of course, it may or may not happen on.
That's
what
right.
Date, what's the date? Actual date? Of
It's
the ride?
August 29th.
Okay.
So it's really late. Sometimes it's a little
Well,
early.
it's always 9 days before Labor Day.
Right.
Okay, which is confusing for some people because it can go from August 29th, which is the latest, to August 22nd.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's almost like Easter.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's
Exactly.
Easter could be like 30 days difference in Easter. I know it's not quite that extreme, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
cool.
it's always 9 days before Labor Day is going to be Hotter Than Hell.
So Labor Day then is later than way into September then.
Yeah.
Okay. Then. Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right.
All righty. Well, Chip, thank you so much. We really
It's
appreciate
been
you
my
coming.
pleasure.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah.
my
Nice to
pleasure.
catch up with you and
Hey,
tell
we'll
your
get together.
wife we said hi.
I'll do that.
Obviously.
I'll do that, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and so next week, next week 7:30 again, and we're gonna have Steve Garner.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yep. Steve will be in next week.
All right. And
Yeah. Our Emily, the lady who
Emily Rourke.
was the
Oh.
Turning Point USA.
Oh.
Emily, I forgot her, Antonio, I believe.
Okay.
She had to reschedule.
Okay.
So she's going to reschedule. She's going to be with us actually in August, I think now. And so I called Steve, and Steve's going to come in and fill in.
Yep. He's our regular.
He's a regular fill-in.
Yeah.
co-host.
Yeah. Where
I'll tell you what, he is a major part of
Yeah.
Hotter
Oh
Than
yeah.
Hell
No,
100
he's.
now.
Oh yeah. He's your biggest.
He's
your
one of
biggest
those
advocates
guys
for
when he
sure.
gets into something, he gets
He
way into
sure
it, like
does. Yep.
the Lake Wichita project and Hotter Than Hell and that
Yep.
sort of thing.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, then I guess we'll wrap it up here. So next week we'll have Steve, and then, but yeah, go register. Go if you know anybody who could be a sponsor. Go check in at info.
You know somebody who wants to ride, encourage
Ride.
them to get out and ride.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and all the way. Hey, find your farthest friend in whatever country,
bring 'em.
and bring them here. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. See you next Friday, 7:30, and like Mike always said, we'll see you down the road.